loved it. He grew up to
Me
be
too.
such a hot guy. I thought he was very handsome.
I had a feeling you'd say that.
I mean, I bet all the girls would say that, man. Come on.
Cool. Well, I'm Ryan Reese.
And I'm Jamie Knopfler.
And we just saw Richard Linklater's new movie, Boyhood. And we're coming to you straight from the theater. So, Boyhood, 12 years in the making. Richard Linklater's, I think, new masterpiece. And by new, I mean he's had previous masterpieces. What I liked about it, I think it had all of his movies, all of his past movies. I mean, I'm even talking about School of Rock, Slacker, Dazed and Confused. All of them, I felt, were in this.
Yeah.
And by that, I mean dialogue-wise, School of Rock is in the music part in it. Slacker, because he's talking about stuff and yet nobody's really doing anything, or he's talking about, oh hey, everyone's telling me what to do and all this stuff like that. And Dazed and Confused, he's growing up in Dazed and Confused, his mom asks like, oh, have you been drinking? Remember at the end?
I didn't even realize
you know what
that.
I mean?
Yeah.
And all of it, I feel like it was all in there. It was almost like Richard Linklater growing up a little bit.
The main character, Mason, right?
Eller Coltrane.
Yes. He was. I can tell that they gave him more dialogue when he got older.
Yes.
He didn't really talk much.
I have something to say about that. See, that's funny because I can relate a lot to that, and I related a lot to the movie. Growing up, Boyhood. I had a boyhood. So. The funny thing is, I know he got more dialogue when he's older because I feel like he had more freedom to say something.
Yeah.
When you're younger, it's always shut up and sit down. Or shut your mouth. Or you're always in the beginning of the movie, the parents were more talking than anybody. Those are the ones taking care of the problems. And this and that. He was just going to school and coming home and playing with his friends.
He
what
always
does he have
got
to worry
in trouble.
about?
He didn't do anything really wrong, and yet the drunk boyfriend or stepdad or whatever just you're being rebel.
But as he got older, he felt like he had more of a voice.
Yeah, and I felt like the mom got more lenient towards him when he got older, because I felt like when he was younger,
you get taken more seriously when you get older. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when you're young, I think in a parent's
adults don't think. You don't know how to think.
Exactly. So I had to think for you.
Yeah.
Another thing I liked about it that I saw that Richard Linklater emphasized on was the technology and the music too. It's funny because he would focus on or he said the Facebook stuff later on in the movie, or in the beginning the girl was singing Britney Spears and other early 2000s music, and it focused it on the first iPod was in there, and then it showed later him on an iPhone, and you see the technology, or FaceTiming and stuff like that too. All that wasn't there before. They used a home phone more in the beginning and stuff like that. And what's interesting about that and what's unique about that is you got to think of that couldn't have been written in the script. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He just probably thought, okay, whatever's gonna be in the future, we gotta incorporate that. Whatever that's gonna be.
That movie is like a timeline.
It's a time
capsule.
capsule.
The little kids playing with the 20 questions thing.
Yeah,
at the table.
yeah.
I used to play with that all the time.
They go around putting up Obama Biden signs and stuff like that. In the future, people are gonna look back at that and go, oh, that's retro. You know what I mean? And so it was a great film, not only because of its concept of the whole 12 years in the making, but it felt like it wasn't a movie where there was beginning, middle, and end. Much sort of like
no climax.
Yeah.
It was just living life.
It was a life lived. It was beautiful. It was really beautiful to make that interesting. And it's funny how we go to the movies to get away from stuff like that and to get away from reality. And I think with Richard Linklater and a lot of his movies, he always brings us back, but makes it interesting in a different perspective of how we shouldn't avoid reality in the cinema. It should be embraced and really just told. It can be told cinematically without being boring. I think people need a little bit of a dose of reality because with this summer's box office and all the movies I see, it's never there. It's never I feel like movies now are too fantasy.
Yeah,
it's
all
too
the
fantasy.
CGI.
Yeah,
it has to be a comic book.
Yeah, it's just too
like
action.
Packed. But that's all that you see in theaters, you know. And and if this movie was released in major theaters, would you imagine like people, would they be bored? Would they honestly
I don't think so. I mean, it's for an audience. I'll admit that. You know, I don't expect a bunch of teenagers to go see this.
Why do you think only selected theaters?
Because of that same reason. Because they're thinking about who will go see it. You know, probably mainly adults. People are into art house cinema or shit like that. You know, people like me or film buffs or this or that. You know, people who like Richard Linklater maybe, or just think it's a cool idea.
I think it's a special. Well, like I said, since it's a special movie, it was a special occasion to go see it, and we got to go watch it at the Enzian, you know.
Right.
And that was a cool experience in itself. So I think it was handled right, you know, because if it was in main theaters, we would have went and saw it at, you know, the Loop or something like that. That's like every other movie.
I see what you're saying.
I like how it's, you know, like I said, special and unique. It
was. You're right. I agree with you there. All right, final thoughts on Boyhood. I loved it. I thought it was great. That's what I like to see.
It's great. And, I recommend going to see Boyhood.
I guess that's it for this episode of Straight from the Theater. Be sure to subscribe to First Word Films. Like, comment, and share. I'm Ryan Reese.
And I'm Jamie Knopfler.
And we'll see you at the movies.